streams.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I saw someone shared it.
know. Well,
That
someone
was
was playing the
funny.
saxophone.
Yeah.
Grabe.
A
Yeah,
punch.
Herc Beto is
May
good.
dancer pala tayo.
Now I'm experiencing the morning session,
Really?
7 a.m. here in LA.
Yeah.
In Eunice's shoes. 7
Good
a.m. for me.
morning.
Hey, thank you.
Is this your first stream in the morning, Andre, bro?
Yeah, I'm not used to streaming at this time either, but hey, pleasure to be here, and
Yeah,
always love these episodes that we have us for. So see you guys.
definitely. You know
I feel
the
like
the
I feel like I'm the energetic one. I'm like, what? Hey, it's 3 p.m.
guys, the morning crew is a lot different, especially like by us, Andre. Like it's night in the Philippines. All the people are on Kumu, so it's like different group. But
Hmm.
thank you,
Yeah.
Luan, for the halo halos. Is that the
Tell them
Luan
you're
from last time?
campaigning.
Oh yes, guys, I am currently campaigning for the actor search. Real
Yeah.
quick, let me
Hey.
tell you guys about it. So Kumu has a movie coming up, right? And they're looking for an actor, small role, and the
Oh,
description of
cool.
this actor is he's a
There you
streamer.
go.
He's basically the best friend or one of the friends of the main character. When he's a
Nice.
streamer and he's a driver, right? And if you guys don't know, I stream, but at the same time, I drive Uber here in Chicago,
Beep
so
beep.
that's basically me.
Wow.
So yes, you guys
In
can
real life.
support me by dropping clapper, rolling, director,
Hey.
actor search. We'll also get our diamonds, just like like last time. But yeah, if you guys want to drop those, that would mean the world to me. So thank you
Cool.
so much. But
Guys, sorry, just have to give a special mention. Hello to the Via. Who's watching? Hi.
Hey girl,
ooh,
hey.
Hey!
hey,
Hi
Okay.
Davia.
shout
Nice to
out to
meet
Who I
you.
think it
you.
is?
It's who you think it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Leg stop.
Hi, nice
The
to meet
fellow Chicago. What do you call people from Chicago? Chicago.
Chicagoans,
Chicagoans?
Chicagoan.
Chicagoans.
you.
Yeah.
Didn't get to meet you all.
Wow,
Davia, you're
shoot.
stunning. Nice to meet you. Chicago.
Yes, there you go. But yeah, guys, with the different streams we've had, on Andre L's, Eunice, and Andre Bros, we had a lot of love from you guys. So real quick, shout out to you guys. Thank you for supporting us and just being there to listen and being engaged, right? And so just
Yes.
last time we were on Andre Bros stream, we were talking, talking about God and stuff, right? And also with relationships, right? And I wanted to carry that on because I think that was definitely something that was you guys were a lot interested in. So I just like Andre Rose stream last time, I have some questions catered to each and one of us, and if you guys just want to share, some things about the other questions that I'm gonna give to other people, feel free to chime in. But super excited about this. You guys ready?
Oh yeah.
Let's
Yes,
go.
sir.
Let go.
Boom. What's the meaning of life?
Oh my god, I
Oh
wanna
my gosh. These
I
two. It's super early for Andre, bro, and it's late for Andre.
oh
Is
my
that a
gosh.
filter or is that
Oh
I'm
real?
just
gosh.
not as a filter, dude.
Okay.
No, it's him. It's him.
I
It's
wish I
natural.
could do that. I wish.
Hold
Sorry.
on, give me one second.
Andre's like, I'm just trying to be serious here and ask questions, motherfucker.
Mga
I'm kidding.
bastos.
Yeah,
Oh man.
man.
Yes,
Okay.
Andre.
So the first question here. All by the way, guys, since it's relationships and it can be pretty touchy subject, right? If you guys feel free to don't want to answer them, all good. Just let me know. We can just bring it to the.
No one
If we
answers
won't
the
answer
entire
them,
stream.
Andre V will answer them.
Yeah,
I'll
you do. You answer your own question, dude.
just
Yeah.
like last time, right? I had to answer all the questions. Okay. So this was actually a question that came up last stream, but I'll give it to Andre, bro. This one should be for you. And if you guys want to chime in too, definitely do so. Should you give your all in a relationship?
Mm, I
It can be, but it's pretty controversial. I've heard different answers about it.
uh, I believe. Well, for me personally, if you become in a re- jump into a relationship and become a relationship, I don't see why not. If it becomes boyfriend and girlfriend, therefore on, you kind of date with the intention to, get married,
Right.
further, not with the intention to break up. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say, yeah, do your best to go all in, all out.
Yeah,
Oh.
definitely. And no, so the reason why I want to ask that, and again, Andre, Al, Eunice, too, you can share, because I've read some people were saying like, don't give your all because something happens, you won't have enough for yourself. Does that make sense? Like, I was like,
Yes.
huh. I mean, for me, I'm the same boat as you, Andre, bro. Like,
Yeah,
you're gonna give your all to them, right? It's just like a two-way thing, but just the different perspective I was getting from other people, like it's like you're holding back. Why would
right.
you want to hold back, right?
Hmm.
Have you heard those answers before, guys?
I
For
haven't.
me, I think for me, you don't not that you hold back, but for me, it's more of like a process that during your journey with that person. Because like me personally, me and my boyfriend, we had that. We talk about this that okay, not every day would be a perfect day. You know what I mean? But we respect the fact that like okay, this is the amount of love I can give to you today. Do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
But it
Right.
doesn't mean I love you less than yesterday.
I agree.
Ate Mika, hello.
I mean, it's
But
like a
yeah, I think
balance, right?
process for me. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Pero I
true.
get what Andre's saying. Like, he gives his
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
all. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have you guys ever seen this movie called Goodwill Hunting
I love
before?
that movie.
I've
If you
heard of
guys
it.
Goodwill
haven't seen it,
Hunting. I
it's
haven't.
Love it.
Robin Will. I think it was made
Have I? Hold
99.
on.
I'm not sure.
I might have. Wait
Uh
lang.
it is with Robin Williams, Matt Damon when he was young, Ben
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Affleck, and then Ben Affleck's younger brother.
Huh.
Thank
Uh
you.
thank you by the way to my sister for sending the gifts.
Oh, thank you,
Uh
thank you.
Thank you, Ate Mika.
um but in that movie, because one of the dilemmas of the main character is that
Yeah.
he's too afraid of going after a girl because of that very thing. He thinks that if he takes the risk, what if she doesn't truly love him once she knows like everything about him? And so he's like,
Ooh.
Mm.
he sets himself up uh to be prepared already just in case she's gonna leave him behind. But then in the long run though,
Yeah.
he never gets to truly love her because he's always so guarded all the time.
Holding
Mm-hmm.
back.
And
Yeah.
and I think it's kind of, how can you truly love someone if you're always guarded?
Holding back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrea, that reminds me of how we all have our own experiences, right? And especially like like a tragic breakup, right? Or someone cheats on you. It's like you're kind of like rebuilding this wall, right? You're trying to build yourself back up again, and then when you find a new relationship, that guy might be the person you're gonna marry, right? Or the girl, right? And
Mm.
they're going to give everything to you, but because of your past, it's causing
There's
you to
some
kind of like,
baggage.
yeah. And I think that's why some people are saying like, oh, don't give your
Mm.
all because I gave my all and look what happened to me, right?
Hmm.
But for me, I'm sure with you guys too, it's like hardships, life's gonna happen regardless, right? And if you like if you make moves based off your past, you're kind of hindering yourself from fully experiencing life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you want to love someone, you want to love hard. You don't want to, because I gave it all my love to this one person and now this new person I only have 75% to give. Does that make sense? It should be like it's it's risky. That's what comes with love. It's like, yeah, that can happen, all those things, right? But be prepared in case something happens. That's what you have to accept with love,
Hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Eunice.
Hi.
Now, talking with relationships, real quick, shout out to the mga
Yo.
bagong pasok Jan. Welcome to the stream. This is
51
the Ala
viewers.
crew.
Hey.
Hey, most viewers I've ever had in the stream.
Let's go.
Thank you, meme. Maraming salamat, guys. And also, guys, I'm currently campaigning. If you guys want to support and drop gifts for all of us,
Ibon
um,
Darnas.
Ibong Adarnas, let's go.
One each.
Where's Kuya J? Oh yeah, guys. At
What is that,
it-
Andre? What's our deal?
that's right. Once we hit 50K each,
Oh,
I don't know if you guys have heard of her, but she's very popular on Spotify, on Kumu. She was on Kumu Global as well. She has a new
talaga.
Yeah.
single. Once we hit 50K each, this person's gonna
Whoa,
sing
whoa.
to us. I think her name is Eunice to me.
Woo!
Yeah, I wonder who it could be.
Let's go, Eunice.
Really ba?
At 100K each, Andre L is gonna say.
No,
Oh
it's you.
wow!
We said it's you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
It
switching it.
should be.
Oh
I am
man!
switching
Drop
it.
an album for all of us.
And then at 200K each, I'll sing. At
Huwag
300K
kang
each,
Buddha.
Andre Bro will sing.
So,
I love the way they're like, let's wait for Kuya J.
Oh man. Okay. All right, guys. So
Budol ka rin.
Eunice. So
Uh-huh.
talking about relationships, do you believe in second chances?
Second chances. Yes and no. I think I said this the last stream. Hi Josh, how are you? Um,
Josh.
like I don't know, I feel like if it's something to do with cheating, like I think that's a no for me na. I don't know, I just can't fathom the fact that if you love somebody but you because it's a choice. Cheating is a
Right.
choice. It's never
yeah.
an incident that you lock the one you love. So second chances, yes, but cheating when it's involved in the relationship, now I don't think I can ever trust a person again. Yeah,
Mm.
that's just for me.
Yeah, it's like your self worth. What about you? I actually would love
Exactly.
to.
Let's respect yourself. Exactly.
Yeah, I'd love to ask Andre and Andre Bro the same thing. What are you guys?
Um, yeah, it really kind of depends. Like
It's like a case by case thing.
in a way, I'd say in Eunice's answer, I agree with it because you have a choice whether you want to pursue a second chance with someone, and you can have that decision in your heart. Like if you want to say, okay, this is um, I want to keep this person in my life as this role, like as
Mm.
someone in the past, and not have to pursue that. That's okay. That's respectable. You put your boundaries. You can pray for that person and wish them the best.
Mm-hmm.
But in other cases where perhaps if there's no cheating involved or other
Mm.
things, and then there's like a lot of change on both sides, and they're both willing to.
Thank you, Mia.
Thanks for the sticker, Mia. But yeah, when the two sides are both willing to, make a lot of change and give the relationship another chance, then I think nothing wrong with second chance.
Yeah.
Shout out. No, yeah, 100. I love that. It's same thing. It's like you said, case by case. Because I don't know if you guys, but there's stories in from my friend group or family where that second chance,
Yeah.
was like a wake up call to them, and they're in a
Mm.
happy marriage. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Mm.
But um, same thing with like what Eunice said. I'm actually the same, and mad props to those that can handle, like, let's say someone cheats, right, but they're still able to, like, they put that aside from them. Like for me, I'm not like that. I don't know. I just like
It's
maybe I
tough.
need stuff to work on, but it's a tough thing. It's like I was telling you, niece, it's your self worth, right? And not saying that if you still give second chances that you don't
Yeah.
have self worth or whatnot. Um, I don't know. It's just like it's like
Sometimes
yeah.
love is you can't explain it. Like if you love the person so much that you're so engrossed in the idea of that person that you can't explain why you're giving that person a second chance, maybe.
Hmm.
So it depends as well on your case,
Yeah.
I suppose.
I have a question. Do you guys think if you don't know why you're giving them a second chance, is that infatuation or is that really love?
I know, right?
Because
Like
you
If you
don't
don't
know
know
why.
why.
You're just giving them another chance
yeah,
for
it's
some
like the
reason.
idea of it now. It's not even like oh, I don't know. I haven't experienced it personally.
Do you think it's also like when people give them a second chance, it's like because you know how some people stay in relationships because they've been in a relationship for so long, even though like the love has
Yeah.
To
like
save the relationship.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
I
different.
Mm,
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
because there's like a difference with infatuation. Like
Mm,
infatuation is more feelings driven. Like, oh, I love the feeling they give me,
yes.
and if you don't know the reason why you're giving them a second chance, and they did something wrong to you, that's actually kind of bad on your end because you could
Yeah.
be opening yourself up to another strike, like to more
Exactly.
hurt. So I think if you don't know
Exactly.
the reason, don't give it a second chance just because like just because like that's kind of
Yeah.
Yeah,
that could be a dangerous place.
I
But I
agree.
think if you see that they've they're really proving their trust and really showing it with their
Mm,
actions,
yeah.
then maybe consider. But until then, I would say be cautious.
Because if they've
Because
done it once, they've done it before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Agreed. Love that. Thank you for the gifts. And
Not
guys,
to condemn the
also,
person, but like
yeah,
it that person is gonna be part of your life. So
yeah.
that's putting you. Yeah,
mhm,
I get it.
100%. All right. So Andre L, what do I have here for you? Do you believe that relationships should be 50-50 or 100 or 100?
When you say sorry, when you say
Like
50-50, you mean like
Chiron, like
mutual, like
Okay,
both of
Ron.
you?
yeah, both of you make 100, or is it 100 100?
Sorry, I'm having a hard time
So,
understanding the question
may
because
ratio.
I see in my head it's like yeah 50-50 in the sense that both of you
80-20.
have a part to
So you
give,
become
but then also
100.
100 because like you're giving your all.
Thank you, Chiron.
Uh,
Thanks, Chiron.
Yeah, I know
so
it sounds like like a no brainer, but like that's a question that I have bothered people. I was actually watching a sermon about it.
yeah,
That's
Uh-huh.
why, and then they're saying, I mean, yeah, share your answer, but it's just like kind of tell you what the pastor said. Like,
yeah.
relationships should be 100 and 100.
100,
Like, as in
100.
you as a
Uh,
person, right, and that your partner as a person should be 100 100. You guys shouldn't like, oh, 50 50
okay,
and make
okay.
100.
I get it. I get it now. Yeah, yeah. Okay. If it's in the aspect of like the effort you put in, 50-50 meaning both of you contribute to it, I would say yes, of course, because both of you need to contribute to it. But if it's in the aspect like, oh, the other person is the 50 I need to complete me, that's something different. I
Yeah.
think it's actually possible to find wholeness with who you are way before another person enters into your life, because the issue
Mm,
is if the other person is the source of your wholeness, then if they're gone, what does that make you?
Oof,
exactly.
So
yes.
You hit it.
I
Hit it on the spot. Like you
yeah,
know
yeah.
how you guys know how like okay, not shaming on anybody, but you know how like you guys have those friends that are always in a relationship, like they need
Dude,
to
like
be because
at the
they
end of every heartbeat they're just like rolling in
yeah,
relationships like that, like
and that goes on to what Andrea was just talking about. It's like their
Mm,
happiness is dependent on that other person, that
mm.
when they by themselves, it's like what I do because they're not whole with themselves.
Mm.
They don't know
Probably because
themselves.
of past traumas too,
K-
that they try to depend on
so
other
should
people.
could
Yeah.
Hmm.
I share something? This is kind of going on a different
Let's
tangent, but
go.
like
Go.
uh I don't know if you guys ever had a friend who shared like, oh, every person I seem to end up with is just like toxic or they're bad. Or like I don't know if you've
Ooh,
had that friend,
I know what you're
or they
talking
say
about.
like, oh, I can't, like every guy I end up with, I just end up I can't trust him and whatever. And then uh I remember someone was breaking it down before like a relationship analogy, and he said, okay, in all of those relationships, who is the common denominator?
Oh
Who
my
was present in
gosh.
every relationship?
Hmm.
It
Dang,
was
That's
the
such a good
person who
analogy. Oh
chose
my
them.
goodness.
hard
Yeah.
And
pill to
so
swallow.
and so
It
what
is.
if the person that needs to be dealt with is actually the one who's choosing all of these,
Self check.
people?
Self
Yeah, it could
check.
be a
Exactly.
self check because you're the
Good. That's
common
a good
denominator.
point. That's such a good point.
So
Yeah.
uh
Oh my
yeah, shout out to my
gosh.
teacher in class
That's so
who shared
true.
that.
Literally, a friend came in mind when you said
Ooh,
that. Whose
No,
tell your
exact same
friend
same.
if you
words.
can.
Why are these girls so this and that? But
Yeah,
like,
Hmm.
self check, self
be like,
reflection.
bro, you chose him.
Right. And guys, it's not even relationships too. Like I have actually when you said that, bro, I could think of a family member of mine, like a relative, where
Mm.
their relationships with people, like friendships wise, they just can't get
Uh,
Yeah,
along with people.
yeah, that's
yeah,
And
true.
then same thing, the common denominator was that person was involved in every single drama. Does that
Mm,
make sense?
yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that's
And
crazy.
that kind of reminds me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kind of reminds me, like, I think it was Chase that I was talking to about it. Parang like your pet peeve daw, or was it you guys? I can't remember. But like your pet peeve or something that irritates you or annoys you the most, it could be like a reflection of yourself. That
Hmm.
you know what I mean? That's like, so that makes so much sense about like relationships that you always complain about the toxicity. Have you checked on yourself? Have you looked in the mirror? Like
Yeah.
maybe you are
Mm.
the
Yeah.
toxic one. Yeah,
Hmm. I
I love
think
that.
it's good for especially like, by the way, I'm gonna recommend this real quick. Do you guys know Michael Todd? He's a pastor from
Yeah.
Formation Church.
You know,
Dude, I
yeah.
love
No, I
him.
Relationship
don't.
goals.
Relationship goals. He has a book too. Andre, bro, I think you'll love him.
Michael
But he
Todd.
Mhm.
talks about like just like with modern day pastors right now, the way they talk about the word and just they relate it to our like generation and like the stuff that we're going through and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, that relationship goal series, it's great. Like it was a great like foundation. Like for me, it's like, oh shoot, like for example, like Andre, I was just talking about how you have to, people get into
Oh yes.
relationships to find happiness and all that stuff, right? But in that book or in that sermon series, all on YouTube, guys, he was saying like you gotta really know yourself before you can, get into a relationship and stuff like that. Because remember we said relationship is a hundred and hundred, a hundred. Your significant other, you guys should just complement each other. Does that make sense? And the same thing, strengths, weaknesses, you guys bounce back. You help each other grow in that sense. But that changed my mind because before I always thought it was, oh, this person has certain strengths, this person has certain strengths, so it's like 50-50, and then together they make 100
Oh.
whatnot. But yeah, definitely check that out. It's given me a lot of perspective. Um, real quick, just some welcome to the new joiners. Shout out to you guys, Shira, user, Charlotte. It's me back. Welcome guys to the stream. Hope you guys can follow my co-hosts and help me with my campaign by dropping clapper, rolling, director, and actor search. And reminder, at 50K each diamonds, our very own Eunice Janine will sing a song.
Stop. Oh my god, I'm sharing the live stream.
But
I still don't
real,
know how she does that pause freeze frame. Does
it's
she
you
leave
got
that?
it.
You
I
gotta
always
Always
do.
be
need that.
me.
So let me try. Let me try.
Sige, go.
It works. You know,
Did
Did
it
it
work?
work?
left. I'm the only one here.
It did. It
Yeah,
did.
it's the only one here.
And then
You're
like
literally like.
Oh man. Real
imagine
quick,
we just do this
the
and then stay like that. Like
whole
we're
time.
not moving the entire time.
Staring
I know.
contest.
Um,
Okay.
I wanted to ask all of us here real quick before I go, Andre, with the next question. We are talking about people that are always going into different relationships, right? What
Yeah.
advice would you give them, guys? Like to those people that are like basically trying to find happiness in other people. Does
Right.
that make sense?
I feel like, yeah, in those instances, people find themselves trying to find fulfillment and that sense of being accepted or completed in other people. And I believe that void in our lives is something that only Christ can fill.
Mm-hmm.
God made us
Hundred
so that
percent.
we can love God and that He can love us. So it's not until you give your heart to God and choose to put God first in your life that you will have that um, sense of feeling His grace, feeling His love, and then from there on in your relationship with others, I believe you guys can help each other grow, flourish and strengthen one
Exactly.
another in Christ. And that's the true, beautiful relationship that God intended for us.
That's so true. Yeah, like the wholeness, like being one with God and establishing that first.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I do remember you telling me this on the another stream, bro, where you're saying how like the love that God gives, it's a weird like it's a place in your heart, but it's nothing like this world can give. You
Right.
know,
Correct.
that
Yeah.
sense of
Nothing like the love of God.
yeah, it's a different type of love. I mean, I can't explain. I don't know if you guys can explain it, but it's really like that.
It's a love that we haven't, we don't earn. We don't, um, you know, it's not by works. It's God's grace, and it's God just giving it to us.
Hmm.
So that's the love of God, which is spectacular and
That's true.
humbling. You know.
Yeah. So, Eunice, what advice would you give these to those that are struggling? You know, always just trying to be in relationships one after another. What advice would
Yeah.
you give them?
Um, what advice? My friend, I'm thinking about my friend right now. What advice would I give to my
Name
friend?
reveal? No, don't. I'm kidding.
Name rebellion. No. I would say, you know what? I understand if you had past, traumas that led to this kind of um attitude, I suppose. Or there probably is a reason why. And I wish that before we jump into another relationship, you try to find the reason why, or the cause of why this is happening in your life. Because
Mhm.
you know what, self love is one of the greatest gift and love
I
you can give to
agree.
yourself too, right? It feels like I'm actually talking to my friend right now. And yeah, apart from self love, the gift of your friends and the people around you, also the love of God is such a great gift that you probably have yet to experience. You don't have to depend on just one person, depend all your happiness and your life basically on one person. Um, I feel like I'm really happy for my friends that are single right now at the moment, and they've realized the blessing that is to be single too. Because for my guy friends, I feel like the guy friends are the ones that are like kind of jumping from one relationship to another. But my
Mm-hmm.
girlfriends, I'm so happy to be hearing from them that, oh my gosh, I'm single and I'm so happy. I can do what I want. I don't have to think about what, or like rely on a person, or I don't have to mind somebody. It feels like I'm minding somebody. And yeah, for me, just enjoy the while it lasts. Enjoy the single life while it lasts. At the same
Yeah.
time, I feel like Anji's gonna say something. At the same
I,
time,
I
what?
was gonna say, like, if it sounds like they're finally free when they're single, they
Uh,
must have been in really controlling
Right. I
relationships, and they're like,
agree.
Actually,
"Oh, I'm
if I could
finally I
just
can."
share, but it's not my story to tell, but like you can tell by how I say it. Like I'm so
Mm,
happy they got out of those relationships, honestly.
That's good.
And
Mhm.
yeah, like there's so much beauty in finding, love within yourself.
mm,
Then by the time
mm.
comes when you're ready, everything is is laid out for you. It's even more beautiful to be sharing that love with somebody, if it's
I
God's will.
agree.
I,
Yeah.
I got a question for you
Let's
guys.
go.
Uh, because I like with what Eunice was sharing, it reminded me,
Mm,
right? Like a common message that's mentioned today is about when people feel broken or they feel unfulfilled with who they are. The common message I think seen in social media is develop self love, right? Love who you are and give yourself unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
But if if you cannot give what you do not have, is it actually possible to give yourself unconditional love
Like,
and to have self love?
you always ask the questions that literally make my brain like, whoa.
it's crazy though.
Because like I'm genuine, because right, it's like a
Yeah,
common
yeah,
thing
I
that
get
said, right,
you.
love yourself. But I'm thinking you can say all of these affirmations to yourself, but if you do not have love within your own self, how can you even give yourself that? That
Mm,
for me, that's why I think having God is so essential, because he's the source
that's
of
where it comes
love.
in. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
once you receive love from God, then you have something to love yourself with.
Amen. Yeah.
And that's
I like
what
your
changes everything. That's actually why I think one of the reasons why a relationship with God is essential to even love yourself.
Yes.
Amen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have love, you can't give it to anyone, including yourself.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys know this thing where they say it's
Mm.
like to help those certain people or give advice or whatnot. Like you kind of have to experience it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it kind of ties to what Andre bro was saying earlier, how like when you feel that love that God gives, something that this world can't give, we
Mhm.
can kind of like share that again to like our loved ones. You know what I'm saying? And just again, we were talking about with Andre L right now, but yeah, so true. Okay, Andre L, do you have any advice for the same question we had earlier with people that are always in relationships?
Well, if you're always searching for other people to fill you, then and you realize it's not working, clearly there's something something you should change. Because if you're doing the same thing expecting a different result, right? They describe that as insanity. And if you're always in a relationship trying to fill yourself and you're like, "Oh, why am I always kind of empty? Oh, I should try again. I should try again. I should try again." Maybe take a step back and ask yourself, "Wait, why am I trying to find other people to complete me? And is it possible that there can be another way to find wholeness um in a state where even if you don't have a romantic partner, like is it still possible to be whole? Because the issue is if you think you need a romantic partner to be complete, then does that mean like, oh, so everyone who's single now is like suffering being incomplete? Like
No.
I believe it's possible to be whole within yourself regardless of whether you have a
Yes.
Yes.
romantic partner or not.
Yeah, yeah.
And because I've actually seen it, it's not just something I believe, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
And and again, like, since I'm a person that believes in God and I've experienced God's love, I'm speaking from a place where I believe uh I've experienced God's love and he's given me his love, and it's that love that gives me a sense of wholeness. And so whether I have a girlfriend or I don't, I mean, of course having a romantic partner is an amazing thing, but I believe I don't need a romantic partner to be complete. It's just an addition to my life
Mm-hmm.
that I get to enjoy.
Yeah, I love that. Um, Andre, bro, the question I wanted to ask you is, you talk about your spiritual walk with God and spiritual awakening or whatnot, right? What has reading the Bible and your personal relationship with God? What is that? What have you learned about relationships from that you can share to us? Anything about relationships that you've learned from that? Welcome, new joiners.
I know um, uh, more on perhaps like in the Bible where it talks about marriage, you know, and when we date, and like I said earlier, you should be dating with the intent of perhaps this person being your spouse, getting married, uh, not just to date to have fun and all that whatnot, but
Mm-hmm.
date because you love this person. And um, I love how it goes in the Bible, how like a man and a woman in a marriage kind of represents, Christ and the church,
Yeah.
like together in one. Uh, And it also mentions when it comes to our flesh, like being a man and woman and being two different people, when you get married and become one, you become one flesh. Uh, your bone, they're your bone and your bone is their bone. You guys become one, like solid. You're not like two different people anymore. And
Right. You're a
I love
team.
that because it's like it's a bond that's blessed with God when you get married, and I find a lot of inspiration in that. Just like no matter what happens, choose love as a choice. You know. So yeah, I also was reminded earlier when we're talking about not having to find that fulfillment, like Andrea was talking about, not having to necessarily have that a person to be fulfilled or to feel complete, because we can find fulfillment and completeness by God's love,
Mm-hmm.
God alone. And Paul writes about that actually in the Bible, how he mentions how he believes it's even better to even not get married because you can give more of your attention to the Lord.
Mm.
Paul in the Bible actually didn't get married, didn't have,
Wow.
and he's definitely, a man of God. So If you feel like you need to get married, you need to have a person to be fulfilled. I believe that's not the right thought. You know, you can have fulfillment just with God alone, His love that'll fulfill you. But
Mhm.
at the same time, pray that uh, you may find that person that God has chosen for you to help you grow in your relationship with Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so true. And yeah, I didn't even know. I mean, actually, it's just realization too. Like,
Mm.
um, they do talk about in the Bible how it's like, you become one, right? It's you're a team or whatnot.
Hmm.
And the same thing too. Like, I mean, I've known this, but it's just like there's a lot of priests that priests don't have, right?
Hmm.
They don't have significant others, right? I've actually met some people that left what do you call it, the seminary, or not
Yeah.
seminary, whatever, that the pursuit to become a priest because they found
Yeah,
love.
it's a seminary,
Yeah.
like
Um.
like their school, kind of.
So, I guess this is a question for everyone, or unless you guys have anything to add on to what Andre Bro just said. No. Okay. So, okay, go ahead, Andre. I'll go. I feel like you have something.
Sorry, I was I don't know. The question that I wanted to ask each of you was, why do you think marriage is significant?
Ooh.
What's so important about marriage? I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Because, like, what if someone says,
I want to
"Oh,
hear what the guys have to say first.
like,
Okay, I can
what if
go.
what if someone just says, "Oh, I can just be in a committed, loving, mutual relationship. Why do I need marriage?"
Right. For me, I think it's like, just again what Andre Bro was saying about, you become one. All our lives before you find your significant other, you're unless you have kids or whatnot, like you're doing life for you, right? You're making your own decisions, your choices. But the significance of marriage is, you know um, learning, like living life with someone else, right? Like, they're, like you said earlier, there you guys are one. And imagine, for someone that's been living by themselves for, I don't know, 20 years, until whatever you get married, right? And then it's like a, I don't know, it's like a next stage of life, like learning how to walk, and or crawl to learn how to walk. um but I think that's, for me, it's learning the whole being one, working with another person, and trust, communicating, all that stuff. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but that's what it is for me.
It's good. It's good.
What about you guys? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Well, for me, like the fact that you're in front of God, with this person, that to me is very important. That to me is very sacred. Um, what i- what is it called? Like a sacrament. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, one of the
Sacrament, yeah.
sacraments. And yeah, like literally. Um, and you know what? For me, like obviously monogamy is non-negotiable for me.
Mm.
And the fact that you seal that in front of your creator with the person that you love, that for me is literally the essence of it, the importance of marriage. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, becoming one with another, um, both flesh and spirit. And yeah, it's more of not pleasurable desires. That's the reason of getting married. It's more on finding that partner to go and encourage each other spiritually in Christ. And when it comes to marriage, it's such a sacred promise in front of God.
Mm.
God wouldn't allow it, if to make two that together come to two, to become one under God's blessing, um, if it wasn't um, going to bring, not putting Him first with the in your heart's intention to bring Him glory. So I think a lot of married couples, they go into that, but they somehow along the line fail to um, keep up those the faith, their standards in the marriage, the reason why they came together, and then that's when the devil, I believe, can find ways to sneak in and tear marriage apart, tear what God brought together.
Hmm.
So it's really more than just a ring on the finger. It's more like keeping each other grounded in Christ, grounded in God, marriage.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to play the devil's advocate, but let's say if if uh if faith wasn't included in the picture, would marriage still be how could marriage still be significant or important if faith wasn't included? Let's say the person's like, I
Mhm.
don't believe in God anyway,
I
so
would see it in
I don't
more
care.
like a like a worldly sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um, like okay, two people are very infatuated with each other. They want to combine like resources or whatever the reason may be.
Mm-hmm.
I think marriage, for it to be really blessed by God, is to really have that faith. That faith is really that foundation. Faith in Christ. For that, by faith we are saved, right? So without faith in the picture of marriage, I don't see how that's a solid marriage.
That's
Hmm.
interesting though, because obviously I live in a country where it's normal, even if you don't, get married, and two
Yeah,
people live in a home together, start
yeah,
their own
elope.
family, and it's
Mm-hmm.
successful. It actually is, and
Mm,
they didn't get married at all. And it's
yeah.
so I think it's got to do as well with the foundation of these two people
Mm,
coming
Hmm.
together in Christ, um, having that one decision to get married, and
mm.
um, wait, I'm curious though, why Andre L?
No, I'm like I ask all because like ever since so I'm in a school now where we have
Mm,
a lot of these questions, and one question I ask myself now every time, let's say I thinking of a concept about God, whether it's related to God, I think,
mm.
um, why do I think this way, and how is this significant to someone maybe that doesn't even know God, and how can you help break it down? I
Uh-huh.
because I had the same question. Like I asked that question
Mm-hmm.
in class,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked the teacher like, "What's the like? What if they don't believe in God? Right? Then they just might be like, I don't care if I profess this in front of God. Like as long as
Mm-hmm.
they know I'm committed to them, like that's what matters."
Yeah.
And then one thing I guess that made sense for me,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of whether you have faith or not, is when you choose to have a marriage, it's a public declaration of your commitment before everyone that this is the person I'm choosing, and you're
So
letting
for
it like
legality.
it. No, it's like you're literally telling the entire world this is the
Mm.
person I'm choosing, and so you're putting yourself on that level of
Yeah.
responsibility. Like this is the person.
Mm.
So that's
I
like
get
one
you.
aspect that
Mhm.
I think at least that's what helps me kind of understand. Of course, I believe everything you guys shared about,
Hmm.
explaining
Yeah.
before God and um like you no longer being one, but like you have that unity. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, because I see also marriage as like the highest level of
I
commitment.
agree.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's the
Mm-hmm.
So
operation. I love you.
Right.
yeah.
Andre.
Wow, I was about to make out with
Feeling.
the air over there.
That'd be good.
Oh
Oh,
man,
God.
All the fans are like, I wish I was the air.
I wish I was
Like,
the air.
Sana
Press
air na
one if
lang
you wish you
ako.
were the air.
yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh my
sorry,
gosh.
Andre V. What's the
Yeah,
next?
no, that's Luan wants to be there.
See, she's
No,
like one.
that's
Press one.
Guys, let's
that question was big.
let's drop some stickers. We have some performances coming out soon, but we need to hit that 50K
Let's go, guys.
Let's
checkpoint first.
go, guys.
Guys, if you can
Send those gifts.
get us to 100K, Andre Lagdameo is going to drop an album Also,
Ooh,
Whoa.
all of this
Albums.
song, all of this stream.
Photo album.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Ah.
Go guys. If you guys are enjoying this, yeah, it'd mean the world if you guys drop some clappers rolling,
There are
director and actor
actor right
search.
here.
And also, yes, Eunice is gonna sing
Huh?
her latest single or even her an album, who knows? And then right after that, Andre L. And Andre, I heard you dance too, right?
oh, um,
Maybe dance
Yes.
and sing too, right?
We got a
I
Guys, check his
dancer.
IG stories.
yeah,
Guys, let's go. Wait, pause real
Guys.
great
quick.
dancing.
Those
It's
dance
not
moves
even
though.
not like there's choreography. There's nothing planned. It's more like just shaking the grooves, shaking the bones. That's all that.
There you go. Uh, Real quick though, anybody in the since we're talking about relationships, anybody in the comments, do you guys have any questions like that you want to ask us? Yeah, everybody wants you to sing, huh? Thank you so much, Hannah. By the way, shout out to my
Thanks,
Star
Hannah.
Magic acting workshop crew. They're all here. That
Hey.
Andre, but they actually saw that you're here, so they're like, "Oh, we want to watch." So
Yeah.
Hannah, I don't know who else is here. Ava, shout out to you guys. Nick, thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, any questions you guys have down there for us regarding relationships? Yeah, last time everyone was what do you call this? So intrigued with Andre L's love life, but that's for his stream.
Go to his stream for that
I'm
one.
very
there,
happy for you, bro.
there could be questions revolve. I mean, there's some things I really want to save just for the content of the stream.
Hmm.
But
Hey.
other questions could be asked if there are.
For sure. Yeah, we had a lot of from that last stream we had. Okay, what's the question here? Um, I think is it Eunice next? I think it's Eunice next. Eunice,
What?
do you? I'm doing the Ludra, I'm doing the Star Magic workshops, the acting workshops. Um, Eunice, do you think
Yo.
exes? Nick, thank you so much. Do you think exes can still be friends? If so, how would that be
Oh.
possible?
Oh yeah. I have a lot of oh my gosh. Literally, okay. So we're 14 in the group, right? We're 14 in our circle. And last year there were 3 couples, including myself, obviously. And uh so there's it's like half and half, boys and girls. And we're best friends with this couple obviously, and they broke up after a 3-year relationship. But up to this, is Andre frozen? Sorry.
Yeah,
Or
so I'm
is
sharing
it
the
is
stream real
oh,
quick,
okay,
but
okay,
go
okay.
ahead.
Okay. And yeah, we're still both best friends with the guy and the girl. And so if the question is it possible? Yes, 100%. Um there's literally maturity. What na
Like they're
naman,
best
Andre
friends.
L?
They're best friends with each other. No, I mean, are they
Yeah,
best friends with each other?
yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
They're best friends. So if the question is it possible? Yes, but I believe not for everybody. It really depends. But for our
Mhm.
group, there's maturity involved. There is respect involved. They ended it in a good note. Everybody knows that they're not good for each other anymore. Pero as friends, they work. I know I'm telling my friend stories, but
Lagot. Joke lang.
Ooh, that's a
pero
great question.
and the beauty of it is when they were in a relationship, we couldn't really like tell them. I didn't think any of us were in the position to tell them, "You're so toxic to girlfriend
Mm.
this, and you're
Your
toxic to
mom.
boyfriend." Are your
Oh.
friend? Are you friends with your me? Mom, stop.
Mom's exposing you. Tita, go. Keep asking all the
Oh
Tita,
my
questions.
expose
gosh,
Eunice
mom.
right now.
The short answer is no. Ay nako.
Tita said
But
more.
stop.
Song
And
effect, song
then
request now.
what was I saying? The beauty of that right now, we can tell them in front of their faces. You know, when you were in a relationship, like this happened and this happened. And they
Mhm.
listen and they try to understand. Because now you're my friend, you guys are my friends, and we want you to be a better person, potentially to the
Mm.
girlfriend that you're going to enter in the group, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, yeah, it's possible. Pero depends pa din, obviously.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
cheating again, cheating. No, 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 no cheating involved. But then,
One of the questions here was it like chicken and waffles? I think was a pretty interesting one.
Was it the values
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
yeah,
What
when
do
your
you do
Yeah.
partner
when your
has different
partner has
values.
different values? Do you guys have you guys ever had that? Like your
Yes,
partner was far different from what was your
because
experience
I
like?
had an Irish boyfriend, so you could just
What
imagine
what's the
the
culture
culture. Yeah, exactly.
for so can you break
So
that down? Like what's
first
really
of
different?
all, the guy, my ex, did not believe in God. He believed in sports. Haha.
Ooh,
What sport?
Joke
lost in
lang.
Tokyo.
Football.
Rugby? Oh.
Yeah, football. Didn't believe in God. I think I was sharing a bit of it last time that like I'm
Mm.
so passionate about telling him about my passion, music and stuff, and not that he didn't believe um those things, but parang our values are really different. We were raised very
Yeah.
differently, culture wise as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, what happened is we broke up merely because of that
Mm.
reason that we had different
What was the
values.
main value, if you could share, like the main value? Was it the faith aspect? Was it the passion aspect? Like that he wasn't really supporting what you loved? Like, if it's of course fine for you to share.
Mm, top of my head right now, I feel like it's really got to do with faith. Yes,
Mm.
Mm.
because I feel like those 2 years of my life, it was such a blur. When it comes to my faith in Jesus, I feel like I didn't have a personal relationship with him when I was with my ex.
Mm.
And yeah, I felt the lack in my life. I really felt it. So came to an end. That's it. What
What
about
about
you
the rest?
guys?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys.
You guys, you too.
You wanna go,
I
Andre,
asked the
bro?
question for them, you know.
Um, I think, ooh, so I think there's a fine line between being influenced or being encouraged in a certain route rather than being encouraging or influencing others. Um, what I'm saying is being influenced versus influencing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people, when it comes to different values or beliefs, they try to work around that. But so many times you're gonna come into these situations where you guys kind of clash with that, right?
Yes,
And
crashing is.
yeah, and I believe, or I believe it's pretty clear in the Bible when it comes to that. Um, it's one thing if you're with an unbeliever and you're able to talk about God, encourage that person, bring them to Christ. That's awesome. That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But it also encourages in the word that you shouldn't be unequally yoked with
Right.
unbelievers. There's a reason for that, you know. So yeah, it's something that you definitely, when you have faith, should pray about. And if it's really detrimental to your faith, you're noticing that you're being pulled away from God, then I would
Uh-huh.
believe that things you should cut, bridges
Yeah.
you got to draw the line on.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Going off what Andre was saying, saying yeah, faith really has a huge, huge part in it. And for me, my number one thing is what do you do when your partner has different values? Prayer. You know, ask God. You know, and not even like he'll just answer, but he'll bring people to your life that can give you, you know, answers. Does that make sense? He'll use other people.
Amen.
And
Yeah.
so for me with that, what's up, Raymeister? Shout out to you, Zoo. Thank you guys for being here. Real quick, yeah, if you guys want to support me in my campaign, drop the clap. We're rolling director and actor search, and at 50K each, our very own Eunice is going to sing. If you guys haven't heard her song yet, you guys got to check it out.
Nice.
But yes, um, yeah, tying it to that, it's because I'm big on like you know like we have different values, right? But at the same time, it's an ongoing learning process, and when you learn about other people and like you know their values, it kind of you learn from something from it. It teaches you things about you, right? Does that make sense? And so there's like this fine line with it, guys. Like for me,
Yeah.
right? There's a compromise, but the same thing that person can teach you something or
Mm-hmm.
you know expose a different value to you. Thank you so much, Michaela, for the rolling. that
Time.
you can use. Does that make sense? And yeah, as long as like it doesn't affect your, you have like your hard values that this is you, just makes you you, and doesn't affect your relationship with God as well, then you should be okay. But it's a big thing because there is, like what Andre Bro
Yeah.
was saying, there's a lot of clashing that's going to be involved too,
Yeah.
and just the communicating aspect. Yeah.
Hmm.
I have a follow-up question though. What do you call this? So, kind of similar, but like, when you're like partners, say it's still the values, right? But like, what if your partner, it's been a conflict, like, I'd say like your partner promised that, okay, I will change this thing of mine because it bothers the other person.
Hmm.
um or like you guys have talked about that, oh, this bothers me, so your partner is like, okay, fine, I'll try to change it or whatever, try to work on it, say something about anger issues or whatever values, but like as he tries to work on it, um it's still, it still keeps coming back, like it's still a part of that person.
Hmm.
So I guess my question would be, would you accept that that person actually just has that trait because you love that person? Would you just accept the fact that that's him? Or do you think it's a matter of like, if you respect me and you know that bothers me, you should do something about it? Not
Uh,
just,
yeah,
you get
I
me? You get the question?
Yeah.
think that's a
Yeah.
pretty good question. Just off the top of my head, I think it would really depend on what that is. It could be if he doesn't flush the toilet, and then
Yes.
that's
Put the
perhaps something you might could
toilet
probably
seat
make
down.
compromise on. Don't
Is that
divorce.
personal experience?
No, no, I'm kidding.
Andre Bro's
Not me. No, no, don't link that to me.
this is
But
a
like,
friend, not me though.
if he doesn't flush the toilet, is that grounds for divorce? I don't think so. But if it's something like you mentioned, anger or issues, and it's getting out of hand, and you're taking many approaches, and he's not really taking it fully seriously, or he's not able to, could be something missing spiritually. Um, yeah, that's a tough one for sure. If you're
Mm,
doing everything you can, I see how that could be grounds for splitting. But
yeah.
yeah, it really depends what that trait is.
Mm,
Yeah. I remember I actually asked this question one time to my pastor, uh, and he was sharing how him and his wife have been married for I think over 10 plus years. They're a young couple. They're both like in their mid 30s.
yeah.
Um, and he was saying how one thing his wife hates that he does
Mm-hmm.
not throw his clothes in the bin.
Hmm.
Like he just leaves it everywhere, or like just puts it down on the floor. And the wife
Yeah.
is like, he said at the beginning of their marriage, she was always like, "Can't you just throw the clothes inside the bin? Like it's so
Yeah,
simple."
yes.
And Kim, he would be like, "Yeah, I'll do it," but then he, for some reason, like he wouldn't do it, and then uh I forgot what something she would do that he didn't like, but then it was like the same thing. She had that one thing also. And then he was sharing how uh he ended that whole story by saying this. He said, "Don't major on the minor things."
Ooh, yeah.
Cuz he's like, "Oh, like what Andre Bro was saying, oh, so let's say if the wife's like, "Oh, you don't throw your clothes in the bin."
Yeah.
Now, this relationship cannot work. Like, of course,
Yeah.
it's frustrating, it's annoying,
Uh-huh.
but also, is it really worth like
The
ending the
energy.
relate? Because that's just a part of the relationship. But
Mm-hmm.
is that like a defining factor for the direction of your entire
Mm-hmm.
relationship?
Right.
So of course it depends. When Chicken and Waffles sing values, uh, going back to that, uh,
Mm-hmm.
I think it. Of course, it. When I think of values, I think that's on a way larger scale. It's not just like these small things.
Of course, yeah.
And then wait, sorry, and Eunice, wait, you were saying about like what if they never change, right? kind of like that.
Mhm.
They never
Mhm.
change. Uh,
And it
so I would
still
say
frustrates
one,
you or
yeah,
bothers
it
you.
frustrates. So I would say that don't major on the minor things. I'm taking that from a man who's been married for over 10 years because
Yeah.
he said there will be things that frustrate you about your wife, vice versa, and you're kind of just gonna have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But then, of course, if it's let's say where one person is abusing the other person,
Yeah.
and they say, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm really gonna change," and they don't, that's a different conversation.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
because if you're put at risk literally for your life and
Mhm.
for your safety, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
uh which I think there's this one phrase um that says don't choose someone based on their potential but on their
Yeah.
patterns.
Mm.
Because
Cool.
like
Yeah,
you can say,
that's
potential is like, oh, they could be this, they could be
Yeah.
that, but then what if they never change?
right.
Yeah.
Will you still choose them?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
get you.
people try to go for the, like, okay, not in a bad way, but like the projects, right? They want to change someone and like build them
Yeah.
up, right? But
Mhm.
that's a huge thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and sometimes we can fall in love with the potential of who they could be. Like, oh, if only they're this, and then that's what keeps you going. Like, oh, maybe they can change. Maybe they can change.
Hmm.
But then, are you really like? What if they never change? Would you still say like, this is the person I choose? This is the person I love? Like, could you still say that? So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Good thought, bro. Love it. You break it down in very good
Yes.
patterns. Never thought of it like that.
Mm.
What the potential. Don't just look at the potential, look at the pattern.
Yeah,
Hmm. It's like the whole thing where they say,
Quote of the day. Yeah.
yeah, it's like not what they say, it's what they do, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if I don't think I answered the question. Right? You need wait, the question again was about, was it uh what was it again?
uh say like situational, like your partner tells you, okay, I'm gonna change this because you have said it to your partner that it frustrates you, it bothers you, but they still don't. So it's a question of like, would you accept that because you love the person, or would you think that's a sign of disrespect that they could not change that and they know it is something
Right.
important to you? Yeah.
Totally agree. I think it's that thing. Because okay, just as a guy, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. We forgetful, and you're like, oh shoot, that's right. I'll do better again, and it still keeps going. But then for me, once you see that it really affects that person, and you see like, okay, I can see how it really bothers her or him. And I don't wanna. You love that person. You don't want them to feel that way. So you kind of like the whole compromise thing of like, okay, I got to do better at this. It's like
Mm.
you're gonna have to start paying attention to things more. Does that make sense? Of like for that person, because again, you're one, right? You love that person, but yeah, that for me, that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a whole like I'm gonna divorce you. That's just again we were talking about earlier. It's like you're this is little. Does that make sense? This imagine 20 years down the road. Yeah, I divorced him because he couldn't put the toilet seat down. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Um, Andre L's profile picture just
Can we Gaia him real quick?
wait, yeah, let's screenshot real quick. Everyone
Let's
screenshot.
screenshot it. What is it doing, ba?
Andre L. Uh, so we should meme him. Oh
Best
man,
profile picture ever.
Pretty good comment.
Yeah, so like
crazy.
that's just my question because I personally have heard that like it really frustrated the person, and it's not just some simple toilet flushing, or it's really got to do with, and it gets me asking that question